Thank you, Chairwoman. And thank you to our witnesses for being here today. Mr. Shea, I recently heard from a constituent who lives in Warren County, a rural part of my district in New Jersey. Her small town is tucked between two steep bridges that flank either side of the Delaware River. Because of the unique geographic features of this area, she and her neighbors frequently have unreliable cell service and even difficulty reaching emergency services. In your testimony, you discussed the cases of integrating AI technology into consumer wireless communications. What about for an application like this? What integration of AI technology can help overcome the challenges posed by the difficult geography, like this one, to keep people connected and able to reach first responders when needed?
Well, actually, the NTIA first NOFO award we received was about how to come up with better ways of measuring the local environment to assure high-quality service. So I think with AI, what's called digital twin technology, we're getting a much better understanding how signals propagate and where we can put in small cells to fill in these gaps. So AI, I think, is going to be revolutionary for these type of applications where people have poor service, and I think we're going to be seeing the fruits of that, that technology within the next couple of years.
Thank you. Mr. Pickering, in your testimony, you discussed how deployment of technologies like fiber networks is a necessary input to the demands of AI applications. Given that responsibility for these regulations is shared among several different stakeholders, including the state and local level, how can Congress best facilitate smart, forward-looking policies that will enable us to compete in AI?
I think that there's a way in the permitting reforms that this committee will put forth that will respect the local jurisdictions in the counties and the states and how they have responsibilities on permitting. What we've tried to do as an industry is to create a blueprint of best practices and then find voluntary incentives and community engagement. But on national deployments of multi-state, I do think that there's a role and across federal lands and federal properties that this committee can really speed and accelerate the time to deploy. And I've been talking earlier, we're in a race with China. We need to build as fast as possible. They're not having permitting delays like we have, if they have permitting at all. And so we need to find a way to speed at every level and give the resources and the technology and the tools and the incentives for the best practices with time certainty, transparency, and the best technology tools to permit as fast as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Vashista, I agree with you that as to the critical importance of making sure the United States is a leader in the future of wireless communications on the global stage. What steps do we need to take to make sure that American innovators are leading on AI within international standards setting bodies?
Yeah, so let me take that as a telecommunications question. Firstly, as we start to look at the definition of the 6G standards, which has already started to happen, America needs to have a very strong voice in the 6G standards, both corporately as well as from the NTIA. And I think that's starting to happen. But we need to really double down on that to make sure that as we define those standards are defined in a way that is meaningful to our advancement, as well as an AI RAN, as we call it, which is the infusion of AI and the radio access network. And as I said before, that's probably something that many others are not really thinking about. But it gives us, within the US, the opportunity to take that leadership position because we have that AI leadership position. The other thing, of course, is to make sure that we have most of, if not all, the developers in the world developing AI on America infrastructure. That's very important. Many developers around the world don't reside within the US, but we need to make sure they have access to that American infrastructure because that's what improves the capability and the performance of our AI.
Thank you. I yield back.